That was our buddy Mike Giardi on his, what is it, All 32 podcast?
Yeah, with our pal Will Parkinson, Six Rings guest.
They did a ranking of NFL quarterbacks, and Mike Giardi has Drake Maye as the 19th best quarterback in the National Football League. He had a, well, as Mike is wont to do, a little bit longer-winded explanation of that, talking about sources, defensive coordinators he's talked to, and some of whom played him multiple times last year, what their feeling was going into Drake Maye, coming out of.
Oh.
And I thought it was
I'd like to
really
hear those thoughts.
I thought it was real. Well, you'd have to listen to the All 32 pod with Mike Giardi. The one thing that I found really interesting was sort of a positive and a negative. They went into the matchups thinking he's a really physically talented kid, but can he read and diagnose, and will he pass the test we throw at him? Some of them left the game saying he's more physically talented than I thought he was going in, and I'm still not sure he can pass the test in terms of the mental and the reads and all of those things. And I think that falls into line with what a lot of us think. And the one differentiating factor, I guess we'll say, is he may not have had all the answers in Alex Van Pelt's offense under Alex Van Pelt. How will that change year two in Josh McDaniels' offense under Josh McDaniels and his tutelage and experience working with young quarterbacks? So Drake Maye, 19th overall. Does that feel fair, low, Fitzy? I feel like you're going to say low, but does that feel fair, low, or how do you feel about that ranking?
I'm going to go 100% fair. He hasn't earned his way into the top 12 yet. He isn't a top 10 quarterback in the NFL. Does he have top 10 potential? Could he be a top 8 elite QB one day? Sure. Looks like he's got all the tools, from the laser rocket arm to the processing speed to the quick feet. But what is he started, again, the world is basing everything off projection and potential. Nobody is basing, it seems like, anything for the 2025 Patriots off of reality. They flipped 50% of their roster. Okay, great. He had to get together for like a day and a half after his wedding with some of his receivers. Does that mean that now all of a sudden they've got impeccable chemistry and the guy's going to have an 80% completion percentage on the season? Hell no. He's never even handed off a ball to Travion Henderson in a live game rep. So, no, 19th feels... I'm happier he's in the top 20. That feels about right as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, it does feel right for me too. Okay. You know, look, I just think it's based off of how bad the offensive line was last year, how bad the receivers were. I questioned some of the coaching. I think it was a very simple kind of offense that they ran because of the deficiencies they had at the other positions. So therefore, you're bringing the quarterback down too. I think Josh McDaniels, the new offensive coordinator, is going to teach him the game in ways he never really saw the game before when he was with Alex Van Pelt. So I'm putting a lot into this year. I mean, I got to see. You start to wonder. There's a part of me that thinks, is he a winner? Like, yeah, he's got these unbelievable traits. No, this will be answered this year. Like, I got to see him win football games because let's face it, he did. He kept him in that Tennessee game. I mean, he had that last play on the regulation, and then he threw an interception in overtime, but they wouldn't have been overtime if he didn't throw that pass in regulation. So, but there was look, I got to see him win more games.
Do you believe in that? It's something we've actually bandied about, Arcand and I, going back to the old show, and we've done segments on it, like winner. What is a winner? Does a winner always win on the scoreboard, or are you a winner that can come up short a lot? Like,
no, you got to win on the scoreboard.
Charles Barkley, is he not a winner because he never won?
Okay, well, that's a good one.
That's where we get into. And when Josh
Allen. What do you consider him?
I think he's a winner. He's never won. Right? So and that's where you get into that. And I think it is a challenge because the quarterback,
Lamar Jackson.
Right. He's never won.
Perfect.
And there's a lot of guys that have come through that Tom Brady was a winner. But if Tom Brady never existed, if you Thanos'd Tom Brady, other guys of that generation would have become better winners. Whether it's Peyton Manning, maybe he has a bunch of rings all over his hand, or whoever it would be steps up to the void.
It's not fair, Fitzy, you guys, to maybe hold the winning to him solely because it's the most interdependent game there is. And you talk about Joe Burrow's never won. Josh Allen's never won.
None of them.
Lamar Jackson's never won.
And they're awesome.
Right? They're awesome. So it takes the whole operation. It's not just the quarterback, but Fair or not fair, that's how we judge the best ones, is did they win the big one or not?
And what kind of rosters were they surrounded by? Did they have the supporting talent that they needed? John Elway, obviously a winner, didn't win until he had one of the 25 best running backs in the history of the NFL on his team.
Yep.
He was a loser. Jim Kelly, loser, right? Not a loser, in my opinion.
Not a loser.
He's a winner.
You're right.
But he didn't win. And that's that challenge of the quarter. It's all sports, but really the quarterback position. And, you know, you get into when I look at Drake Maye. So the questions are, well, no, because almost no one questions his physical ability. He has all the physical tools. I feel like that's basically universally accepted.
They're unique.
Okay.
To him, I think.
So that is on one level. He has the physical tools.
He does.
So then it gets down to head, but head in a number of ways. Leadership and sort of that world, but diagnosing, reading, making good decisions, that whole aspect of the on-field. Which of those worries you the most? Is it the winner leadership part? Is he just put the women and children to bed and jump on my back, boys, we're going to go right down the field here and win? Or is it the, cover two and the safety did this, and I know that this guy, blah, blah, like the actual on-field stuff? Which of those, Ted?
I feel like it's the first. I feel like it's the put me on your back. And I don't know. And I got to give the kid, I mean, he's what, 22 years old?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, I was a rookie, I think I was 23. Like, it's a lot to ask. I didn't see a lot of that last year from him.
Mm-hmm.
And I know he was just trying to figure out whether to poop or wind his watch last year. When you're a rookie, it's tough. But it's also like,
Could I do both? Just sit on the throne?
It's hard to do both. I've tried. Really? Very hard.
Okay. Who winds watches anymore?
It's an old expression. Blame Mascar for that. But I want to see some examples of some leadership, and that's why I wanted to see him doing the off-season stuff.
And he did it.
Stuff matters.
He did it, and it's not about football camps and making money.
Nope.
It's not about, no disrespect, nice thing to do, donating your gifts from your wedding to charity. Yeah. And that's all great, but are you the unquestioned leader of, didn't we have questions left? Who was before Joe Milton, Fitzy? What was the question? Remember there was a dinner and somebody yelled like QB1 or something?
Oh, you know who that was?
That was Kendrick Bourne.
That was Zappy. That was Bailey Zappy.
Yes.
That was Kendrick Bourne.
Okay.
Throwing Zappy some love.
You know who never needed to have QB1 yelled? Brady. Like, QB1s don't need people to tell them they're QB1s. Everybody knows when they walk in the building, the room, the restaurant, whatever, right? QB1 is without, you don't need a hype man.
No doubt.
You don't need Paul Heyman yelling, the quarterback. No. Everybody knows. Does he have that? Is he QB1? Or do we still have those concerns that the QB1 runway needed to be cleared for him? Like, that's Fitzy. If that's still a question, and Ted is alluding to that a little bit with the winner thing.
Yeah.
That's concerning if that's still a question for me.
Yeah, see, for me yesterday on my three-point stance, Andy, I played a snippet from Quarterback, which debuted today. Its second season on Netflix, and it was Joe Burrow swearing up a storm after the Bengals went on the road, scored 37 points, and won by 10 points. Why? Because he was pissed that they committed 8 false starts and played such a sloppy game. That, to me, is that not just winning, the killer instinct. We don't know if Drake has the killer instinct yet. Does he seem like a winner? Hell yeah, he does. From the pedigree to the physicality to his just general on-field intelligence and skill. I don't know if he has the killer instinct yet. Now, what I think the person who's going to either bring it out in him or who is possibly going to let us know is going to be his potential wide receiver 1 this year, Steph Diggs, because I think he was brought in to not only raise the acumen and ability and competitiveness of the wide receiver room, but also see if he could elevate Drake's game. He wants to get a bag. That's exactly who Drake should have himself surrounded by. And Ted, that's what I was getting at yesterday when I said that I think it's good that Steph Diggs has football to focus on and not the fame monster this season.
Yeah, and that's an interesting debate, and we can go, because I go both sides on that. That's an interesting kind of thing to talk about. But I want to hear stories of Drake Maye, who's the first guy in the that stuff. It matters. I mean, Brady, Tuesday's your day off, not for Brady.
Right.
He went in and he watched film. He was the first guy there. I want to hear those stories from Drake Maye, like the kind of the best just positive stuff I'd hear is from offensive head coaches or offensive coordinators that would play against. So it was like the Mike McDaniel, head coach who's an offensive minded coach, or Sean McVay when they played the Rams. oh my gosh, Drake Maye. So that tells me something a little bit, but that's you didn't hear a lot of that from the teammates. You know, Kendrick Bourne had some nice things to say, but nobody was saying about Drake what we were saying about Tom when he took over.
Right.
Which is not fair. I get it, but just give me some of that. Give me some. Oh, in practice he was, you know, getting guys hyped, and he was, practice. He took practice so serious that it raised everybody else's level. I haven't heard those stories yet.